Good evening, everybody, and thank you so much for tuning into this video. And we have to talk about something because this AI stuff seems to be getting out of control. And when I say it's getting out of control, I'm not talking about the job loss. The job loss is one thing. The job loss will happen, but I think what is happening right now is that companies are becoming more and more aggressive with their marketing towards AI and this idea that AI is going to revolutionize, because that's really all they have to stand on. If you think about this concept of artificial intelligence, AI, it's been around for decades, first of all. Second of all, yes, as we go along in this concept, or this, my hair's getting long, geez, I need to get a haircut. But as we go along with this AI, driven narrative, keep in mind, first of all, companies can use this as a fear tactic. Companies can use this as leverage to basically beat their workforce into submission. All right, so that's the first thing. Companies will attempt to basically utilize artificial intelligence to say, hey, you're replaceable. We know you're replaceable. Yeah, you have 2 PhDs, but we have this new AI system that now can, do surgery, and not only surgery, but it can do an entire PhD in a week. And we have all the props needed to make that happen. And we know that you're irrelevant, so you better watch your back, or we might just let you go too. Yes, you have 2 PhDs. Yes, you've gone to med school. Maybe you've gone to law school too. Just because it's so competitive in the future, but you are replaceable, right? Now, that's an extreme example, obviously. Maybe that's some crazy dystopian future. Perhaps that's coming. Let me know what you guys think in the comments down below. But this AI stuff is just crazy, absolutely insane. And when I say that, I mean the marketing and the hype towards it. Because first of all, these models make tons of mistakes. They make so many mistakes. And the AI CEOs will say, well, we're working on those, and we have all these great scientists and researchers. Yes, maybe they do, but do these people not realize that they're basically coding themselves out of a job? That's the next thing, is like, these are going to have massive booms and bust cycles. You're not just going to see this development of artificial intelligence into the stratosphere forever. It's not going to happen. And these people who think that AI is just going to blow up and go crazy, and we're just going to be able to replace 90% of people within 5 years, and there's going to be 500 million people homeless, and I'm being ridiculous, but it's just like, it's not too far off though from what you're seeing in the news. That's the crazy part, because when you look at the news and you look at what they're preaching in the news, all you hear about is artificial intelligence, and it just makes me question, like, is this some kind of CIA psyop? Is this, and I might sound crazy for saying that, right? But at the same time, when all you hear about is the fear of losing your job nonstop, the fear of it's coming, it's about to happen, it's already happening, first of all. The automation, think about everything that's online these days. AI is already used in recruiting nonstop. So what else is there to automate? Like, okay, so yeah, you automate recruiting. Now you go for the other types of jobs, maybe more skilled. Recruiting is still, it can be a skilled profession. You have to be able to talk to people, and there's nothing like being able to talk to a real human being on the phone. These customer service agencies that they ship off to the Philippines, these customer service agencies that they take overseas, ultimately just pisses a bunch of people off. Because like when I was at Wells Fargo Advisors, when I was on the phone with a lot of clients, I would be talking to people, and that was one thing that they could not stand, was the fact that they had, when they called the customer service, they immediately got somebody in the Philippines. And nothing against Philippines people, but you're in the United States. Can we just talk to a damn American, right? Can we just talk to somebody who speaks our language, right? But now you have artificial intelligence that's a robot, and it's gonna, there's going to be glitches. I remember the fast food, they tried that. That didn't work out too well. People are getting pissed off already. And people are going to, what's going to happen? People are going to start boycotting businesses that utilize AI. It's going to come down to that. And I'm one of those people. I'm original. I like to be, like YouTube, for example, I think is doing the right thing. They are trying to basically punish people who are mass producing AI content. Okay, so that's great in my opinion, because, and I made the mistake when I was doing this channel to kind of push the AI a little bit. I signed up for some pro service to make these cheap AI videos. And it was funny because I did that very briefly, and the comments I got were, you guys hated it. So I was like, I'm done. I'm not doing this. Because in the future with AI, what's going to happen, I guarantee we're going to see boycotting of businesses, and we're going to see a lot of revenue loss because of it. It's coming, okay? Because people are getting fed up. I'm already fed up. I'm sick of hearing about AI in the news. I just saw a news piece about all these robots running around on the street and everything's normal. The cops are shaking their hands like they're living beings. It's just weird. And we're living in, the dystopian times are already here, right? It's not like it's coming. This is 2025. And so it's just funny to me, like how this is happening. And this is straight out of, you could argue Revelation, the beast, the Bible, all of that stuff, which, I've seen this coming for, over 10 years. It's been obvious to me that it's going to be happening. But at the same time, I think the marketing of it is way overblown, is way out over the top. I mean, it is just out of control. And all they want to talk about now is AI and how you're going to lose your job tomorrow, so you better watch out. So with that being said, there's this narrative is going to pop. Now, as an investor, we talk about the markets on this channel. We talk about the stock market. We talk about your opportunities and what you can do to make money in the midst of all this. And regardless of what's happening with AI, equity markets are always going to exist. And those are already run by artificial intelligence. Those have been run by artificial intelligence for decades as well. They've already been automating that away for decades, right? So this automation thing is just continuing now with writers and everything else. The point is, it's way overblown and the hype cycle will crash eventually. But I've said this on the channel, before that happens, before the hype cycle crashes, and you can check out a recent video of mine where I kind of talked more about this with Bitcoin and crypto and all that kind of stuff. There's another cycle happening right now where those asset prices are starting to go back up. But with that being said, yes, the asset prices will keep on going up. Eventually there will come a crash though. But remember, we still have a lot of room with interest rates. And interest rates are the important thing, because without low interest rates, you don't have the liquidity that's needed to basically flood the market with cheap money. And if you do that, then you get cheap asset prices like speculative assets to do very well. So those cycles are going to be happening again, especially as we have room to work with interest rates. And all this AI investment is going to require more investment. It kind of is a self-reinforcing feedback loop, because if you don't invest more into it, what happens? The bubble dries up. So it kind of is like the dot-com bubble in a way. And we've seen these events roughly, every 20, 30 years, the 1980s, 1990s, now we're in the 2020s. Like we're seeing this happen as well. So there are things that, they say history doesn't repeat, but it often rhymes. And that's kind of what we're seeing right now, because history is kind of rhyming with the rise of more automation with ChatGPT, writers, and all the text-based stuff. And now we're doing video. But like I said, don't let this stuff scare you. Don't let these people beat you into submission and, paralyze you in the news when you hear stories about how artificial intelligence is going to take all the jobs. I mean, like I said, this stuff is just out of control in a lot of ways, and I think it's going to come tumbling down eventually. But in the meantime, there's still going to be opportunities. And if you look at some of the artificial intelligence stocks out there, I should make a separate video about that, but that's one way you can start researching. And I always encourage you to do your own research. I'm invested in an AI stock right now. I've talked about it on the channel before, but they do invest in artificial intelligence. With that being said, you should always do your own research and look into your own investing goals and risk tolerance to ensure that you're making the decisions that are right for you as an investor. But with that being said, guys, thanks so much for tuning in to this video today as we are taking a walk on this beautiful evening. Hope everybody's had a chance to get outside, as it is very, very nice. And I just want to say thank you all for sticking around to the end of this video. And with that being said, take care, everybody, and we will see you in the next one.